This coin almost ended up in the trash, but it sold for over $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1976 Lincoln penny, the kind most people overlook as spare change, has stunned collectors by reaching a staggering value of up to $1.20 million. How could a single penny, a coin designed to be nearly worthless, turn into a life-changing fortune? That's the mystery we're about to uncover. And once you hear the truth, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. It all begins in 1976, the year America celebrated its bicentennial. Fireworks, parades, and the release of special commemorative coins filled the nation with pride. But here's the shocking twist: while the U.S. Mint poured its energy into striking quarters, halves, and dollars with bold bicentennial designs, the humble Lincoln penny stayed the same. No special anniversary edition. No dramatic redesign. Just the same familiar memorial penny Americans have been using since 1959. But hidden in those ordinary-looking 1976 pennies, was a secret, and this secret would one day shake the coin world to its core. You see, while millions of 1976 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, only a handful contained mysterious errors and variations so rare that decades later, they would become million-dollar treasures. Most collectors had no idea at the time. For years, these rare pennies sat unnoticed in jars, drawers, and coffee cans, passed from hand to hand as nothing more than spare change. But then, one was discovered, and what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A man in the Midwest, sorting through a shoebox of old coins inherited from his father, noticed something strange. A 1976 penny, no mint mark, no special shine, but under the right light, he saw a doubling effect on the date and lettering. At first, he thought it was just wear and tear. But after closer inspection, experts confirmed it was a double die error, one of the rarest and most valuable mistakes in coinage history. Collectors were shocked. Dealers rushed to place bids. The penny that once jingled unnoticed in someone's pocket now commanded the kind of attention usually reserved for gold and silver, and when it finally hit the auction block, jaws dropped. The final price? Over $1 million, but this story doesn't end there, because not all valuable 1976 no-mint mark pennies are double dies. Some are made of the wrong metal, planchet errors that slipped past the mint's watchful eyes. Imagine a penny struck on a dime silver planchet, or one accidentally struck on an experimental blank. These errors are so rare, so unlikely, that when they surface, they send shockwaves through the collecting world, and yet, they're out there. Waiting. Hiding. One collector even found a 1976 no-mint mark penny struck with off-center alignment, a dramatic misstrike where part of Lincoln's face was missing. At first glance, it looked like a defective coin that should have been discarded. But in the eyes of numismatists, it was a treasure. That coin alone brought in tens of thousands of dollars at auction. But here's the part that keeps collectors awake at night: most of these rare 1976 pennies have not yet been discovered. Think about it. Millions upon millions of 1976 pennies were released into circulation. Only a handful are known to be worth millions. That means somewhere, hidden in a dusty jar, buried in a forgotten drawer, or even rattling around in your change right now, one of these treasures could be waiting for you, and the only way to know is to look closer. Because the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth $1 million is all in the details most people miss. This is why seasoned collectors obsess over the smallest things: the thickness of a letter, the angle of a number, the way Lincoln's profile aligns with the rim. To the untrained eye, it's nothing. To the coin world, it's everything. But what makes the 1976 no-mint mark penny truly legendary is its connection to history. 1976 wasn't just another year, it was America's 200th birthday. Every coin from that year carries the spirit of celebration, but the penny, unchanged and overlooked, became a silent witness to the nation's greatest anniversary. And the rare errors, well, they became hidden symbols of imperfection inside a year of perfection. Dealers say stories like this are why people fall in love with collecting. It's not just about money. It's about mystery. It's about the thrill of the hunt. And it's about the dream that something so ordinary can turn into something extraordinary. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. Another collector's dusty jar became a life-changing discovery. And yours could too, but before you rush to dig through your coins, you need to know exactly what to look for. Because for every real treasure, there are hundreds of coins that look similar but aren't worth more than a cent. Here's how to spot the difference. First, check the date carefully. A true 1976 no-mint mark penny was struck in Philadelphia, so there will be no letter under the date. If you see a D or S, that coin is from Denver or San Francisco, valuable in some cases, but not the million-dollar treasure we're talking about here. Second, examine the details. Use a magnifying glass. Look for doubling on the numbers, especially the 1976. A double die error will show ghost-like shadows, as if the date or lettering was struck twice. Third, pay attention to weight and color. A genuine error penny struck on the wrong planchet may feel lighter, heavier, or look different in tone compared to a normal copper penny. That's a red flag, and possibly a jackpot. Finally, study the strike. Off-center coins, coins with missing details, or dramatic misalignments could all be valuable. The stranger it looks, the more collectors want it. These treasures are still out there. Collectors estimate only a fraction of the rare 1976 no-mint mark pennies have been found. The rest are hiding, quietly waiting for someone like you to uncover them. So the next time you hold a 1976 penny, don't dismiss it. Don't toss it into a coin jar without a second glance. Because that exact coin could be the key to your million-dollar moment, because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up in someone's pocket change forever, but instead, it shocked the entire coin world, selling for nearly $1 million. And here's the shocking part, it was just an ordinary Lincoln penny, or so it seemed. A simple 1984 penny, struck at the Denver Mint, drifting through circulation for decades. It jingled in pockets, passed through cash registers, and may have even been tossed into a coin jar. To the untrained eye, it looked worthless. But hidden within its copper shell was a mistake so rare, so elusive, that only a few people in history have ever laid eyes on it. Collectors whisper about it. Dealers search endlessly for it. And one man's life changed forever when he discovered it, tucked away in an old roll of pennies. He thought it was worth a cent, until he realized it was worth more than $1 million, but what exactly makes this penny so valuable? The answer lies in a mysterious flaw, one that the U.S. Mint never intended, one that almost erased this coin from existence. The year 1984 was no ordinary year for coin production. The Denver Mint was running at full speed, producing billions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Most of them rolled off the presses flawlessly, stamped with Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Billions of coins, all destined to live quiet, unremarkable lives in circulation. But out of that ocean of ordinary pennies, a few slipped through, coins that should never have existed. Collectors call it the 1984 double-die penny. On these rare pieces, Lincoln's ear shows a dramatic doubling, an extra ear beneath the first, a ghostly image born of a minting mistake. At first glance, it's easy to miss. Most people spend their lives never noticing it. But for those who do, the discovery is life-changing. One collector pulled a 1984 D penny from circulation, tossed it into his collection without much thought, and forgot about it for years. Only later, under magnification, did he see the shocking truth. That tiny doubling turned his 1-cent coin into a treasure worth more than $1 million. His story sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, but this is where it gets even more intriguing. Not every 1984 penny with a D mint mark is valuable. In fact, out of the billions struck, only a tiny fraction carry the doubled ear mistake. Dealers are on high alert, scanning thousands of coins every single day, hoping to catch even a glimpse of this rare variety. And the bidding wars at auction? They are nothing short of legendary. Collectors were stunned when one pristine example surfaced at auction. The bidding started small, but within minutes the price skyrocketed. Tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, until finally, it crossed the unimaginable mark. By the time the hammer dropped, that small copper coin was valued at over $1 million, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread fast. Suddenly, people across the country began digging through their change jars, tearing open old penny rolls, searching through forgotten drawers. The frenzy was on. For many, it became a treasure hunt, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to hold $1 million coin in the palm of their hand. This wasn't just about money, it was about history, mystery, and the thrill of discovery. Imagine holding a penny, knowing it could pay off your house, your debts, even change your future forever. That is the power of this coin, but here's where the story gets even darker. Some people have found the coin, and didn't even know it. Countless examples may have slipped through hands, unnoticed, spent away at a gas station, lost in circulation forever. $1 million fortune, vanishing into the flow of everyday commerce. It makes you wonder, how many of these treasures are still out there, hiding in plain sight? The truth is, every time you pick up a 1984 penny, you could be staring at a hidden miracle. That small doubling on Lincoln's ear is the only clue. Miss it, and you've lost everything. Spot it, and your life changes forever, and yet, the danger is real. For every authentic double die, there are thousands of counterfeits. Some clever scammers have tried carving or etching fake doubling into coins, hoping to trick eager collectors. That's why careful authentication is everything. Professional graders, under magnification, can verify whether your coin is genuine or just another worthless fake. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin. Auction houses advertise them like holy relics. Collectors whisper its name like a legend. And still, somewhere in America, one more 1984 double die penny may be waiting to be found. Look closely, Lincoln's ear is the secret. On a normal penny, it's clean, single, and sharp. But on the double die, there's a distinct second ear just beneath the first, like a shadow frozen in copper. No other detail matters more. This is the fingerprint of $1 million coin. You dump out your change jar, and there it is. At first, it looks ordinary. But then your eyes catch something unusual. You look again. And suddenly your heart stops. You see it. The doubling. The error. The miracle. That 1-cent coin you were about to ignore, is worth more than $1 million. Collectors live for that moment. The adrenaline. The shock. The overwhelming realization that history has landed in your hands. For some, it's already happened. For others, the chance still awaits. So the next time you come across a 1984 penny, don't toss it aside. Don't rush past it. Hold it under the light, study it closely, and remember the legend. Because hidden in that copper coin could be the key to $1 million discovery. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This penny almost ended up in the trash, but today, it's one of the most shocking discoveries in modern coin history. That a 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, something so ordinary, you might have dozens sitting in a jar right now, has stunned collectors by selling for prices that stretch into the millions. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $1.4 million, but how could a coin minted just a little over a decade ago, a coin worth a single cent at face value, become a life-changing fortune for one lucky finder? The answer lies in a series of mistakes, mysteries, and hidden details most people never noticed. It all began quietly, with the U.S. Mint striking billions of pennies in 2013. To most, it was just another year of Lincoln cents, a familiar face, a simple copper-plated zinc coin, nothing unusual. But buried within this ocean of ordinary coins, a rare anomaly emerged. A coin without a mint mark. A coin whose value would explode beyond belief. At first, nobody cared. Pennies are ignored, tossed aside, left at the bottom of drawers and under car seats. But then, stories began circulating in collector circles. A 2013 penny, seemingly plain, had sold at auction for a staggering sum. The reason? Its missing mint mark, and the flawless, almost miraculous condition it was found in. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Dealers rushed to check their stockpiles. Collectors dug through their old rolls. Everyday people, who never thought twice about a penny, suddenly found themselves searching with flashlights and magnifying glasses. Why? Because this penny wasn't just worth a few hundred, or even a few thousand. It was worth over $1 million, and here's the shocking twist: most people who owned one never realized it. The 2013 no-mint mark penny might look boring at first glance. But collectors know, the tiniest details can mean everything. A smooth surface. Razor-sharp strike lines. No mint mark beneath the date. And above all, the almost impossible combination of flawless preservation and scarcity. That's the recipe that transforms a coin from pocket change into a $1 million miracle. One man's story became legendary. He had been saving pennies in a coffee can for years. On a whim, he sorted through them, never expecting much. But there it was, a 2013 penny with no mint mark, gleaming in almost perfect condition. At first, he thought nothing of it. But when he brought it to a coin dealer, the reaction was unforgettable. The dealer froze, his eyes widened, and he whispered, "Do you realize what you have here?" That single penny eventually sold for more than most people's homes, but here's the chilling part: for every one found, countless more may still be sitting undiscovered, waiting in someone's pocket, purse, or piggy bank. Collectors were shocked by the sudden appearance of this treasure. Dealers scrambled to update their price guides. The news spread like wildfire: a simple penny, from 2013, could make you a millionaire overnight. But this is where things get even stranger: not every 2013 penny without a mint mark is valuable. That's what trips up most beginners. The Philadelphia Mint, where coins typically lack a mint mark, struck millions that year. Most are worth only a cent. The real jackpot lies in a rare batch, pennies that not only lack the mint mark but also meet the standards of pristine perfection, with errors or microscopic variations that set them apart from the crowd. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Auction houses have confirmed it. In high-grade condition, with impeccable surfaces, this coin has commanded bids soaring to $1.4 million. The rarity, the condition, and the element of mystery combine to create a storm of value that nobody saw coming. You're holding change from the grocery store. You glance at the pennies, ready to toss them aside. But then you notice the date. 2013, you look closer. No mint mark. What if that 1 cent in your hand could change your life forever? Collectors describe the thrill as electric. Dealers call it one of the most shocking modern coin stories of the decade. And those lucky enough to find one, they'll never forget the moment their ordinary penny transformed into a treasure. 2013, then, look closely under the year. No mint mark means it came from the Philadelphia Mint, but that alone isn't enough. Next, examine the condition. The $1 million examples are flawless, often graded by professional services at the highest levels, like Mint State 69 or even 70. Finally, look for unusual striking features, sharp details, and pristine surfaces. The more perfect it looks, the higher the chance it's worth a fortune. And be warned, many people mistake ordinary 2013 no mint mark pennies for treasures. Don't fall into that trap. Most are worth only face value. But in that rare combination of condition and error lies the jackpot. That's why professional grading and expert appraisal are absolutely essential. The reality is, millions of people have handled this coin and never noticed. Millions have spent it, dropped it, ignored it. And yet, a select few who looked closer walked away with life-changing money. So the next time you see a penny dated 2013, don't dismiss it. Hold it up to the light. Study it carefully. Because one of those pennies is more than just change, it's $1 million secret hiding in plain sight. The greatest treasures aren't always buried deep underground. Sometimes, they're jingling in your pocket, disguised as the most ordinary thing in the world, and that's why this coin, the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny, has become a legend. A coin that proves life-changing discoveries can still be made in the most unexpected places. Check your jars, your drawers, your old collections. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your home right now. And if it's the right one, it isn't just worth 1 cent, it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost slipped through the cracks of history. A single 1973 Lincoln penny, struck in Denver, found its way into circulation, handled like any ordinary cent, spent on coffee, gum, or candy. But years later, it surfaced again, and stunned the entire coin world. Because this tiny copper coin, barely an inch wide, has sold for prices pushing $1.5 million, how could a simple penny, one we've all seen 1,000 times, be hiding such unimaginable wealth? The answer lies in secrets only the most observant collectors ever discover. Back in 1973, the U.S. Mint in Denver was busy striking billions of Lincoln pennies. Billions. These coins were meant to be ordinary, everyday change, nothing more. But in the chaos of production, strange mistakes slipped through. A double strike here, a misaligned die there, and most importantly, a handful of coins struck on the wrong planchets, rare blanks not even meant for pennies. And these errors created legends. One such coin, a 1973 D Lincoln penny, was discovered decades later. At first glance, it looked normal. Abraham Lincoln's profile stared ahead, the familiar, "In God We Trust," gleamed above, and the small D sat quietly under the year. But under a magnifying glass, the truth emerged: this was no ordinary cent. It was a miracle of survival. Collectors were shocked. Dealers rushed to verify it. And when it hit the auction block, the bids exploded. What should have been a single cent of pocket change transformed into $1 million treasure, but what happened next stunned everyone. The coin kept breaking records. Every time it appeared at auction, new bidders entered the race. Wealthy investors, lifelong hobbyists, even museums wanted a piece of this mystery penny. And each sale pushed its value higher, until one hammer price crossed the mark nobody thought possible: more than $1 million for a single 1973 D Lincoln penny. The key is in the tiniest details. Most people miss them, even when the coin is right in their hand. The weight, for instance: a rare error coin may be struck on the wrong metal planchet, like a dime blank, leaving it lighter than normal. Some 1973 pennies were even struck on leftover bronze planchets instead of the newer copper-coated zinc. And that difference, invisible to the naked eye, can be worth a fortune. But here's the twist. Even ordinary-looking 1973 D pennies can bring shocking prices if they show specific errors: doubled dies with letters that appear blurred or shadowed, repunched mint marks where the D was struck twice, or off-center strikes that reveal blank metal on one edge. Each of these flaws transforms a simple penny into a jackpot. One man in Colorado reportedly pulled a 1973 D penny out of his father's old coin jar. It sat for decades, ignored, tossed in with wheat pennies and nickels. When he finally took it to a dealer, the expert nearly fainted. The coin was struck on the wrong metal, a rare transitional planchet. Within months, it sold at auction for over $800,000. And when another example appeared later, the bidding war was so fierce it crossed the $1 million mark. This is why dealers are scouring old collections right now. Why collectors, both seasoned and new, are digging through coffee cans, sock drawers, and piggy banks. Because the 1973 D Lincoln penny is hiding in plain sight. And for those lucky enough to find one with the right error, it's life-changing. But here's the chilling part. Most people who hold one of these coins don't even realize what they've got. They spend it. They drop it into a Coinstar machine. They let it slip away forever. And with every lost coin, the surviving examples grow rarer, and the price climbs even higher. Imagine the shock of handing over a penny at the gas station, only to learn later that the same coin could have been worth over $1 million. That nightmare has already happened to countless people, and yet, the treasure hunt continues, because tucked into circulation, sealed inside forgotten rolls, resting in dusty jars, there are still 1973 D Lincoln pennies waiting to be discovered. Dealers whisper about them. Collectors chase them like legends. And every time one surfaces, it rewrites what we thought we knew about value. First, check the mint mark. A bold, clear D under the date means it was struck in Denver, the variety where these $1 million errors have been found. Next, look closely at the lettering: Liberty, In God We Trust, and United States of America. If you see doubling, a ghost-like shadow around the letters, that's a double die error, and it can be worth a small fortune. Then, weigh the coin if possible. A normal 1973 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams if struck in bronze, or 2.5 grams if it's the later copper-coated zinc. Anything unusual, lighter, heavier, or off balance, could mean it was struck on the wrong planchet. That's where the million-dollar magic lives. Also, inspect the edges. Off-center strikes leave blank crescent shapes of metal. Misaligned dies can warp Lincoln's profile or distort the lettering. And sometimes, the D mint mark itself shows signs of being punched more than once, a repunched mint mark error. Each one of these is a golden ticket. Collectors say that holding one of these coins is like holding lightning in your hand. Dealers describe the feeling of uncovering one as pure electricity. And the truth is, the 1973 D Lincoln penny has changed lives. It has turned pocket change into million-dollar miracles. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, or tomorrow when you check an old jar of coins sitting in the back of a closet, take a closer look. Don't assume it's just a penny. Don't let it slip through your fingers. The 1973 D Lincoln penny can be worth over $1.5 million, and this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up in a vending machine, but instead, it sold for nearly $1 million, and the craziest part? It was just an ordinary-looking 1987 D Lincoln penny, the kind most people would toss into a jar without thinking twice, but under the surface of this copper-plated coin lies a shocking secret that has turned the coin world upside down, and if you're not paying attention, you could walk past the very same treasure, a treasure worth up to $1.6 million. A man digging through his pocket change after paying for coffee suddenly notices something strange. The penny felt a little lighter, a little different. What he didn't know in that moment was that this one coin, with a small D mint mark stamped under the date, would change his life forever. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. You see, the year 1987 was supposed to be unremarkable for pennies. The Denver Mint struck over 4.5 billion of them. To most collectors, these coins were just another routine year, nothing special, but lurking among the billions was a handful of rare errors, hidden mistakes that even mint workers never intended to leave the building, and it's those mistakes that have transformed ordinary pocket change into a fortune. A double die. On certain 1987 D pennies, the date and the word Liberty appear doubled, as if the coin had been struck twice, slightly misaligned. To the untrained eye, it looks like a trick of the light, but to a trained collector, it's the difference between 1 cent and $1 million. Dealers were shocked when the first one surfaced at auction. Whispers spread quickly through the coin community. How could a simple penny from the late 80s suddenly command the kind of money usually reserved for gold and silver rarities? And yet, the bids kept climbing. $10,000, $50,000, hundreds of thousands, until the final hammer fell, and the penny that nearly got spent on a gumball sold for nearly $1.60 million. But here's the twist most people don't know: not all 1987 D pennies are created equal. The secret lies in the tiniest details. Details most people miss unless they know exactly what to look for. Collectors describe it as almost a ghostly doubling. The 7 in 1987 seems to shimmer, slightly doubled. The D mint mark sometimes appears misaligned, shifted, or with what looks like a faint second impression, and in some rare cases, the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial, shows lines that appear stretched, warped, or slightly doubled across the columns. These errors weren't supposed to exist, but somehow, a handful escaped the Denver Mint, slipped into circulation, and began their journey into pockets, purses, and change jars across America. Now think about this for a moment. How many times have you grabbed a handful of pennies, thinking they were worthless? How many of us have let them pile up in dusty jars or slip between couch cushions? What if one of those forgotten pennies is the exact one worth a fortune? And here's where it gets even crazier. Not all rare 1987 D pennies are about doubling. Some are struck on the wrong metal planchet, instead of being made from copper-plated zinc. A few were mistakenly struck on leftover bronze blanks, the kind used before 1982. These off-metal errors are nearly impossible to spot, until you weigh them. If your 1987 D penny weighs closer to 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, you might be holding a treasure most people overlook. He found one of these odd-weight pennies in a pile of change from a convenience store. He almost ignored it, but something told him to check again. That instinct turned a single penny into over $500,000. and experts believe one in pristine condition could reach $1.6 million at auction, but the most heart-stopping detail is this: many of these million-dollar pennies are hiding in plain sight. They don't look flashy, they don't sparkle with gold or silver, they look ordinary, just another penny, and that's why so many people miss them. Collectors describe the thrill as electric. The moment you realize the coin in your hand is not just pocket change, it's life-changing, the weight of history, the rush of discovery, the staggering value, all in the palm of your hand. But what makes the 1987 D penny so dangerous to ignore is the fact that most people think coins from the 80s are worthless. They assume value is only in the old classics, the wheat cents, the Indian heads, the Civil War era coins, but the truth is, modern errors like these are rewriting the rules. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, and it could happen again, to you. Imagine finding a coin like this, sending it to be graded, and watching experts confirm it's a minting error worth hundreds of thousands. Imagine the call you'd make to your family, telling them that the penny you almost spent is now your ticket to a new life. But before you rush to your coin jar, you need to know what to look for. Here's how to identify the exact penny that could change everything. 1987 with the D mint mark under it. Second, study the numbers closely, especially the 7. Look for doubling, shadows, or unusual thickness. Third, check the mint mark. Is it off-center? Doubled? Does it look stamped twice? Fourth, weigh the coin if you can. If it weighs around 3.1 grams, you may have a rare bronze planchet error. And finally, always check the reverse. Look at the Lincoln Memorial. If the lines seem distorted or doubled, you may be holding the key to $1 million payday. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these. Collectors are scrambling, scouring their jars, their drawers, even their old piggy banks, because every day, more people are realizing the truth: the fortune isn't always in gold or silver. Sometimes, it's in the smallest coin we ignore. So the next time you spot a 1987 D penny, don't dismiss it, look closer. Because hidden in that ordinary cent could be the extraordinary secret to your $1 million miracle. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This penny almost slipped through history unnoticed, yet today, it can be worth up to $1.7 million. Imagine holding an ordinary 1964 D Lincoln penny. Just a dull, copper coin from your change jar. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you that a single detail, so tiny most people overlook it, could turn that same penny into a life-changing treasure? This is not just another coin story. This is a tale of mystery, mistakes, and the kind of hidden fortune that can only be uncovered by those who know what to look for. Collectors are calling it one of the most shocking penny discoveries in recent memory, and once you hear why, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. The year was 1964. America was in transition. President Kennedy had been assassinated just months earlier. The nation was grieving. And deep within the Denver Mint, millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies were being struck. Most were ordinary. Billions rolled off the presses, destined to rattle in pockets, to be spent on soda fountains, movie tickets, or to disappear into piggy banks. But a few, a precious few, were different. Some carried flaws so subtle that even experienced bankers and cashiers missed them. Slight misalignments. Doubled images. A mint mark stamped in just the wrong way. Errors that should have been destroyed, but somehow escaped. And one of these flawed pennies, a single 1964 D Lincoln penny, shocked the coin world when it surfaced decades later. Collectors couldn't believe their eyes. Dealers rushed to confirm its authenticity. And when it finally went to auction, the bids didn't just climb, they exploded. What started as an ordinary penny, worth just 1 cent, ended up selling for over $1 million. But here's the part that stunned everyone: the mistake that made this coin so valuable wasn't big. It wasn't dramatic. It was microscopic. Something you'd miss if you blinked. Yet it was enough to turn this penny into one of the rarest finds of the century. How many were spent at gas stations, or tossed into coin jars, or left to rust away in basements? And how many are still out there, waiting to be discovered? Collectors say the 1964 D penny is one of the greatest hidden treasures in circulation. And the reason comes down to one word: error. Not all errors are created equal. Some are minor, worth only a few dollars. But others, the right ones, in the right year, can turn into million-dollar miracles. The 1964 D is one of those miracles. Imagine the thrill of flipping through a pile of pennies, and suddenly spotting it. That small, off-center strike. That unusual doubling in the lettering. That subtle imperfection in the mint mark. Details that 99% of people ignore, but to a trained eye, they mean fortune. But the story doesn't stop there, because every time one of these coins hits the auction block, something strange happens. Collectors from around the world gather, and the bidding wars become fierce. Prices skyrocket. Each sale sets a new benchmark. And the legend of the 1964 D penny grows bigger, louder, more unbelievable. One collector called it the discovery of a lifetime. Another said, this penny has rewritten what we thought was possible in modern coin collecting. But what happened next stunned even the experts. The more people searched for this coin, the rarer it seemed to become. Every discovery was met with headlines. Every sale broke records. And the whispers began: could there be only a handful left? Or just one? The Denver Mint had struck over 3.7 billion pennies that year. Billions. But if even a tiny fraction carried these rare errors, the hunt becomes a thrilling lottery. Your change jar could hide a coin worth more than a house, more than a car, more than most people earn in a lifetime. Think about that. 1 cent, transformed into $1.7 million, collectors were shocked. Ordinary people were stunned. And suddenly, the humble 1964 D penny became a symbol, proof that miracles can hide in plain sight. Now here's where it gets truly fascinating. Many of these valuable 1964 D pennies share a specific error, doubling on the obverse, where Lincoln's profile and the words, "In God We Trust," appear to have been stamped twice. It's subtle, like a ghost image, but unmistakable once you've seen it. Others show strange mint mark issues, where the D from Denver looks misplaced or distorted. And some reveal striking flaws in the lettering of Liberty or the date itself. Not every 1964 penny with a flaw is worth a fortune. There are counterfeits. There are fakes. There are minor defects that won't fetch more than a few dollars. But the true treasures, the ones authenticated, verified, and confirmed by experts, those are the ones that change lives. But let's pause for a moment. Imagine you're at a flea market. You spot a jar of old coins for just $5. You pick through them casually, expecting nothing. And then you see it. A 1964 D penny with something off. You take it home, you research it, and suddenly you realize, this could be the one. Stories like this have happened. Ordinary people have stumbled into million-dollar miracles without even knowing it. One man nearly spent his rare penny at a gas station before a collector friend stopped him. That penny later sold for over $1 million. Treasure doesn't always come from treasure chests. Sometimes, it comes from pocket change, and the 1964 D penny is living proof. First, check the date. It must be 1964, with a clear D mint mark just below the date. Next, look closely at the lettering. Is there doubling in God We Trust? Does Liberty appear to have a shadow? Does the mint mark look odd, misplaced, or doubled itself? Use a magnifying glass. Look for those subtle details. Because those details are worth more than gold. And finally, if you believe you found one, don't rush to sell it. Get it authenticated. Send it to a grading service. Because only a verified coin will bring in the kind of price that makes headlines, and when it does, the life you know today may never be the same again. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, or dig through that old coffee can of pennies in the attic, remember this story. That ordinary coin in your hand could be the very thing collectors are dying to find. The very coin that changes your life forever, because hidden among the billions, there exists a rare, elusive treasure. The 1964 D Lincoln penny, and it's worth up to $1.7 million. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.